Hello lovelies. Some of you may know that I've been working on something really special. It is called the Willow Sanctuary, a peaceful wellness retreat that I've created in the Shropshire countryside where ASMR comes to life in person. It's a small, nurturing experience designed for deep rest and reconnection, including guided meditation, yoga, woman's circle, mindful rituals, sound therapy, one-to-one treatments and much more. Every detail has been created for you to slow down, breathe and restore balance. I'd love to welcome you to the first Willow Sanctuary retreat on Sunday the 25th of January 2026, 10 AM to 6 PM. Spaces are limited and bookings are now open. Click the link in the description box below. That will take you to the website where you can book and find out all sorts of information. I look forward to meeting you at the Willow Sanctuary Winter Retreat. Hello, lovely.
Hello.
Are you alright?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So I'm going to be assessing your skin today. Alright. Do you have any makeup on?
Only mascara.
Okay, that's fine, don't worry about that. So we're just going to start by sanitising my hands. Right. Okay. So before I get into the assessment, I just would like to know if there's any areas of concern.
So definitely my T-zone, I would say.
Yeah.
It's very oily. I've been told I have combination skin.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. I mean, that was a few years ago, so I'm not sure how much the skin changes. Or
Yeah.
I mean, it was when I was a teenager, so it's highly likely.
It's always good to ask as well what type of skin you think you've got. Sometimes it's right, sometimes it isn't, but it doesn't matter. So you think you've got combination skin, oily T-zone, and what about the rest of your face? Do you think that's dry or normal?
I would say normal.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe my cheeks can be a little bit dry, but I mean, it's warmer weather at the moment, so...
Yeah, we tend to dry out a bit, don't we, with the sun and things like that, so... okay. Now, I saw on your consultation form that you do use skincare. Do you know of the brand?
Oh, is it CeraVe? Is it?
Oh, yes, I know what you mean.
Yes.
Yeah. And you use a cleanser.
Yes.
And is it tone...
I don't use a toner, no, just a cleanser.
And do you use any moisturiser or anything like that?
Yes, moisturiser as well.
Okay. Any eye cream?
Yes.
And what about any serums, so like hyaluronic acid, vitamin C, anything like that?
No, I don't tend to.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. And that's that. And do you use that twice a day, or just once, or here and there?
I'd like to say I try to use it twice a day, but probably more once.
Look, once is better than none, so
yeah.
That's fine. I'll put 1 to 2 times a day. I suppose it just depends, isn't it, what you've been up to and things.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I know you're not allergic to anything because I've already asked you that. Do you feel like you burn easily in the sun?
Absolutely.
And where are we looking? Are we forehead, cheeks, or...?
My nose and my forehead, I would say, are my two main areas.
So did you say forehead?
Yes, and my nose. My nose is the worst.
Okay. And do you find that your skin is sensitive at all?
Yes.
And do you know what kind of things can trigger it off?
I'm not entirely sure, if I'm honest. It's just if it's a product that I've not used before, I tend to go for products that will say suitable for sensitive skin.
Okay.
But no, sorry, I'm not entirely sure. I haven't narrowed it down.
Okay, that's fine. So is it more you're sensitive with skincare products?
Yes, I would say so.
sometimes you could be not sensitive to anything, but then when it comes to skincare on your face, then you could be quite sensitive. But you might find that you can pretty much put anything on your body and that'll be fine. But when it comes to the face, sometimes it doesn't, annoyingly. Okay, that's that like that. So your main concern is your oiliness?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to have a look at your face and just take some notes, okay? Do you find that you go like flushed quite easily?
Yeah, I do.
So you are a little bit red in the cheeks and the forehead, that's why I asked. Okay, so you do flush quite easily. Yeah, I mean, just touching like that, it does feel quite clammy, but like you said, it is quite warm. I will do an oil check in a little while as well, just to see actually how much she's picking up. And we'll do some, obviously, squeezing of different things. Yeah, so I can feel quite a lot of oil on your nose, and I can see quite a lot of blackheads, but it's like some of them are quite enlarged, so that's probably why you can see them more. Noses are very common to have blackheads anyway. Maybe a little Millia there. So, do you ever break out in spots?
Yes, I do, but it'd just be like a few spots every now and then.
Okay, so it's not like a regular
No,
thing.
no.
Okay, so occasional spot. Okay. And if you do get that spots, is it just anywhere or is it in a certain place?
I'd say more on my chin and around my mouth, actually.
Okay,
I tend
so
to get
that's quite
a few spots.
hormonal, that is that area. So chin area. Okay. And do they look like just normal whitehead spots, or do they look like hard lumps? Or
I would say normal spots.
yeah, so on your chin, it's actually basically like kidney, but mostly reproduction area.
Oh,
so
okay.
around the time of the month and things like that, or just as our hormones fluctuate during the month, you are probably going to get more breakouts, and it will tend to be in that area. Yeah, so that's mainly the area that's got to be coming down to reproductive. Okay, so hormonal potentially spots, but it's good that it's only every so often.
Yeah.
So Now, I know you've told me your skincare regime, but do you exfoliate at all?
I don't.
Okay, and what about wearing masks, like face masks?
Very rarely.
Okay, don't exfoliate and use masks.
I do use those pore strips.
Okay, perfect.
Try not to use them very often because I've heard they're not great, but
It's just because it can rip a lot of skin off.
yeah.
Really, because they're so intense, aren't they, when you pull them off? And they don't always work, if I'm honest. To kind of remove blackheads, we need to make sure we are steaming, opening up those pores as best as we can, then just gently like wiggling and things like that. Some of them can come out quite easily, others are a lot like more deep, so they need a little bit more work. So, okay. I'm going to get my light. If you close your eyes so I don't get it in your eyes. Okay. I can see a little bit of pigmentation, but it's very common if we've been in the sun or sunbeds and things like that. Especially that it has been quite warm recently, so I'm more inclined to come out. Have you had any freckles over the time that you find that have maybe faded, or?
Yeah, I usually get freckles in the summer.
So in the summer you do come out, would you say about here maybe?
Yeah, over my cheeks and my nose.
Okay, so you're quite prone to them then when it's warm and sunny. Okay. I'm just going to pop this on your forehead. I'm just going to clear any of the excess oil that could be caused from the heat, okay, before I do the oil check. And then just your nose. Make sure your eyes are closed because I'm going to cover them. Okay. Lovely. check that. Okay, so quite a lot of oil has come off. That's good. Now, I don't know whether you'll see in the light, but can you see roughly where it is?
Yeah.
So, put it there a little bit.
Yeah, that's quite oily.
So, but again, your skin is still obviously going to be quite warm, even though I've pat it down a little bit. But I do think it would be similar to that, even if it wasn't warm. Okay. Right, let's check some other areas. Yeah, definitely quite a lot on there as well. That's a 10. Okay. If you want to have a little look, I don't know if you can see.
Oh, yeah.
Hang on. It's hard to see in this light, but hopefully you can see what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, let's do the nose. And close your eyes just to make sure I don't catch them. So when I'm pushing that, I can see all the oil straight away soaking in. And I can see literally all the pores, which I would have expected, to be honest, with the enlarged pores. So I'm going to remove that in a sec. Okay. Yeah, there's quite a lot there. I hope you can see.
Oh, I can definitely see that one.
So yeah, that is the nose. Okay, and I will check your cheeks as well. Okay. If I can get you to just stand for me a little bit, thank you. Okay. Can come back in. A tad, but that could be because you're quite warm. Left cheek. Alright, okay, let me get this last one out. Okay. Okay. Okay, there's quite a bit on that one. I can sort of see.
Oh, yeah.
So that's right cheek. Okay. A little bit later I will check the nose again. Alright, because obviously I have drawn a lot of it off, so I'm going to do what I need to do and then I'm going to do it again and see if it's still the same. Okay. When do you notice the oiliness in your T-zone? Would you say it's there when you get up, after you've had a wash, or does it start midday? When do you find it triggers off the most?
I would say like first thing when I wake up in the morning is when I notice it most.
And then when you say wash your face, do you find it calms down?
Yes, definitely.
And then does it peak again throughout the day?
Yeah, I would say again then towards the evening.
Okay. Do you wear any makeup?
I don't know.
Okay. That's good, so we're not blocking up your pores regularly with makeup. Do see some pigmentation on your forehead, a couple of milia. So milia is like these little white lumps that are not actually spots, if that makes sense. So a lot of it is if you've had products and it's gone into the pores, for example, and then skin has kind of gone over the top of it, and that's when they appear like that.
Oh.
They're pretty common, to be honest. They're very little, you can just see. They're kind of similar to blackheads, if you know what I mean. My brows, there's nothing in there, it feels nice and smooth. Okay. I'm not pulling your hair, am I?
No.
It's alright then. Okay, you did that. Thank you. So yeah, I can see some like enlarged pores here, but they haven't got any blackheads in or anything like that. And just more visible, if that makes sense. And your skin does feel quite warm today, so do need to take that in consideration with the oil test. Colour pigmentation. And here you can see a bit more like your freckles and things like that. So your cheeks are quite hydrated. Do you drink much water?
I'd say a litre and a half to 2 a day.
Yeah, that's good. That's a lot more than me. So that's good, because all there is nice and hydrated. I can't see any dehydration lines. I can bring it back a little bit. So I can see here that it looks, when I say liney, I don't mean fine lines, okay? I mean like it looks tight.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to say. So basically it can look like this if your skin is quite dehydrated, or if it's classed as dry. So I'm going to squeeze these areas and just see what it looks like. Yes, that's quite hydrated still. A little bit when I squeeze here. I'm wondering whether it is a bit of dryness. Yes, so there is some dehydration lines there, but if you do have a bit of dry skin, it's going to be dehydrated as well. But like oily skin, it's because you're producing too much oil. So that's what's happening there. But I'm wondering if these areas you're not producing enough oil.
Right.
Even though it feels a little bit like greasy, but if you've got skincare on, like I said, you're hot and flustered, it can feel like that anyway. But if I'm going like this, your skin actually feels quite nice and smooth, which is nice. Just rubbing it like that, I can't really feel a lot of bumps, if that makes sense. So
Okay,
all here is
that's
quite
good.
nice. Yeah, it's quite nice and supple as well. But you are young, so okay, I'll come back to that a little bit. Okay, to turn for me. A little bit of, it's not actually a breakout, it is a blackhead that seemed to have come out a little bit. I will use my magnifying glass in it just to make sure what that is. Probably a little bit of dehydration there. That's really good there, looks good. Quite hydrated actually. Here I feel like it looks a little bit tight. I don't know whether you ever experienced any dry patches or little sore skin there, or whether it feels dry. I don't know whether you experience anything like that. It just feels it when I go like this.
Okay, I haven't noticed, but
Just because it just sometimes how the appearance is. But if you haven't experienced anything like that, well, that's a good thing. Yeah, but that's really nice and supple again. Nice good bounce in the cheeks. Okay, so you do have some breakouts here, along there, couple on here. So this is typically very hormonal. Okay, on that side, have a look. And a little bit there as well. And a little bit there. Okay. You do have quite a lot of enlarged pores and blackheads here on your chin, but because your T-zone is typically oily and it does feel very oily today, you're going to be prone to blackheads and breakouts there as well. Okay, so it's not, it's not, oh my goodness, if you know what I mean. There's not like loads and I can see it, but obviously I'm assessing it so I can see. There's some that look a lot deeper than others. That's it, good, stretching the skin as well. I'm just going to scrunch your forehead. So sometimes you see when our skin's quite dehydrated, you'll find that from like midday onwards, you can start to feel a little bit greasy in those areas. That's its way of saying, look, feed me back, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So then it can make it feel and look greasy. God. So obviously you've got quite an oily T-zone. Okay, and your cheeks are actually pretty normal.
Oh, okay.
It's just this tad here, really, and initially I thought, oh, it could be dryness, but actually I think it's just dehydration.
Okay.
And that's why that could feel oily there, because it's trying to compensate. So, because if you had dry skin, that would be lacking oil, and your skin's definitely not lacking any oil.
Okay.
But dehydration is obviously lack of water, so it's struggling with water to begin with, if you know what I mean. Things like that, you can use like hyaluronic acid serum. You could use like a hydrating, like moisturiser or something like that. Just you can have a look around and see. And if you've got face masks and things, then I'd recommend using like ones for, you know, dehydration and things like that. But because you've got a T-zone, actually what you could do, and I know it's really annoying, but like on your T-zone you could try and use like a purifying mask, a charcoal mask, clay mask and different things like that. You can put it all over and it's not going to harm, but obviously that's your main thing. So if usually that's recommended if you've got, you know, the mask that you put on with a brush.
Yes, I've seen
Most
those.
people have sheet masks nowadays, so I would say, because I do recommend that you do have a mask, and the reason why I say that is your skin is like lacking obviously water, moisture and things like that, so I need you to add that back in. And as I said, like sometimes when your skin appears oily, it's because it's trying to produce more oil to compensate from like a water. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's a bit confusing, but so then that can appear a bit oily then. Same with here. You know, I mean, you definitely have an oily T-zone. Like touching, you see, you're still quite oily when I'm feeling. Here doesn't feel as bad now, but obviously the forehead.
Yeah.
You could use a mask all over that's purifying or something like that, clarifying, and different ones, or you might see ones that say mattifying. Mattifying products are going to help matte your skin, so it's going to help soak up the oil.
Okay.
Okay, so something like that is ideal. Because ideally, I say we should, but I recommend using a face mask at least once a week.
Okay.
And you definitely need to exfoliate. I'm going to have a look in a minute with my purple light and my magnifying glass, but if you're not exfoliating, your dead skin cells are just lingering on the surface of your skin. And that's when, if you've got like breakouts or you've got enlarged pores, and like grime and oil or build up of moisturiser goes in there, then if you're not removing the dead skin, it goes in there and covers it up. So then you can get more breakouts.
Yeah.
You could get things like milia and different things like that. So ideally you could exfoliate once or twice a week, but my recommendation would be, if you are using an exfoliator, do it on the day you're going to mask.
Right, I was going to say, what kind of order would it be? Exfoliation, then
that
mask?
Would really kind of help. So you do ideally when you're using a cleanser, you should do it twice, unless you've got a product specifically which is like pre-cleanse or something like that. Just give it a good scrub, because the first time you're not removing it enough.
Okay.
And then when you are using exfoliator, you need to we don't want anything too harsh, because that can rub the skin too much, and if you do get red and a little bit sensitive in places, that's really not going to help.
Right.
But obviously if you could find an appropriate exfoliator, I would say just circular motions all over your face. I mean, you can get ones that you keep on. Personally, I wouldn't recommend those. There's ones you can use daily as well, and they're very light and less, virtually non-existent grain. It's more like a paste.
Right, okay.
But have a look round. I mean, I don't know what's what on the market, but you can have a look. That's just something I recommend everybody to always make sure we are double cleansing. Toning, unless you're too sensitive for toner, then if you are, I would suggest cool water over your face. So if you say you're in the shower and it's hot and you're giving your face a good wash, 2 cleanses, and then you're like, right, I'm going to exfoliate, that's going to remove all the dead skin, so it's not going to lock anything in the pores. So when you've had a hot shower and you've exfoliated, for example, you've removed all your dead skin cells. So then ideally you'd put on a toner of anything appropriate. Me personally, I use a hypochlorous cleansing solution, which is actually helps remove bacteria off the face, which is actually fantastic if you've got oily skin.
Okay.
And I'm prone to breakouts, especially on this section. But if you can't physically use anything like that, then good old cold water, splash it all over your face, because what that will do, that will shrink your pores slightly, but it gives more of a closed effect, if you know what I mean. So stops everything going in there so easily, because our pores are kind of always open, but it's about the appearance of pores. So the cold actually makes it appear closed, if you know what I mean. So when you want to have an extraction, we need to steam the face and make it as hot as possible, because that will open the pores, make them look bigger, and then it's easier to draw out all the nasty stuff that's inside. So
with the exfoliator, can I use my hands, or is it better to use like a little scrubbing brush? Or
you can use a brush, but
is that better?
That could sometimes be a bit harsh.
Oh, okay.
Me personally, if I was, say, in the salon doing facials and things, we would probably do a pre-cleanse, then maybe the brush, then the exfoliator. So the brush just breaks the first little bit off.
Right, okay.
But you don't need to do that. Personally, I'd probably just say go in straight with an exfoliator, because sometimes it's got all the products in that's going to benefit the skin. So recommend a mask once a week. And exfoliate 1 to 2 times a week. You don't have to use a mask every time you exfoliate. That's just something that I do, which is recommended. Because then what you're going to do, you've drawn out all the dead skin, so then you want all the goodness from the mask to go into your skin, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And then you would tone afterwards, so splash your face, that'll close them all in, and then you can moisturise. Because we don't want your moisturiser to go into your pores, because that's where it can clog and cause the milia.
Oh, right.
Right, I'm going to get my light. This probably will feel a bit warm on your face. And if you can make sure your eyes are closed with this one, please. Thank you. So what this does, it shows up any sun damage, and you can see any like blackheads and like dead skin. So what you can see here when you look, I can see a lot more with the light, which that is normal. So I can see a lot more pigmentation, patches, so, and because you can't see it, that's just deep within the skin, it hasn't come to the surface yet. And like on your nose, you've got a lot of larger patches, but you can't really see them until I put this light on. And I can see all of the blackheads, they're all here. It looks pink, if that makes sense. It looks strange. Yeah, I can definitely see some dead skin on the surface, especially around like where your hairline is. But no, that's difficult, isn't it? Because we don't really want to get hair wet. So you can see the sun damage there. Basically it just looks like pigmentation patches, but they're not really to the surface of the skin.
I did get burnt recently. So.
Oh, well, that could be why. Because on here you've got a lot on your nose.
Yes, that was where I got burnt, on my nose.
I can see like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then a few more. And then obviously dotted here. And then on your chin you can see all the blackheads and some dead skin. Yeah, and here. So when you do use a cleanser, if you can try and make sure you do wash your neck as well.
Yeah,
if you can, bring
to.
it to your chest, okay. Yeah. And same with the exfoliator, if we can make sure we're doing here and here, just because I can see a lot of dead skin build up there.
Okay.
So we just need to do that, but you wouldn't know otherwise, so. And I would recommend obviously being careful in the sun, because this bit here is very red, but I can see lots of patches of pigmentation, and that is why it's feeling dry, because of that purpose. You've probably been in the sun, it's burnt, and it's making it look dry. Like sometimes if you've burnt the sun, if you notice that your skin feels really tight in that area, that's because you've like sucked out the moisture out of your skin, so it's dry and it's trying to like help, do you know what I mean? And then it's like, then that can have an opposite effect, because then your skin tries to pump out more oil, and then you're going to start getting oily again. So yeah, so my advice, I mean, I'm terrible, but my advice would be to, you know, if you are going to be in the sun, especially when you are away, definitely try to put some sunscreen on, and definitely in this section here, because that seems to be the main area that you seem to be catching. Now your forehead, it's more little patches of pigmentation dotted around. There's some larger patches like here and here and here. But just by looking, you can only see the larger patches until you get the light on, and then you can see it. So obviously we don't want that sun damage to get worse.
Yes.
So if it starts getting worse, that's going to start coming out. All the other ones, they're going to go like bigger, joining up and things like that, and you will have a lot of pigmentation then when you get older. So yeah, I'll try and nip that in the bud as much as you can. I know it's easier said than done because we burn in the sun, do you know what I mean? Or you just do even when you got sun cream on.
Yeah. It's having to reapply, that's what I find.
Yeah. With your face, I mean, I always think a spray is pretty good. The sun lotion spray, because it's not as heavy on your face. So obviously when you've got like oily skin and that, having a sun lotion on your face can feel really horrible. So an aerosol is obviously a lot lighter on the skin, but you can get them and they're really good coverage still. But the only downside to that is making sure that you do cover everywhere. Like when you've got a cream, you know where it's gone. But yeah, so just make sure you spray each kind of section. Do you use saunas at all?
Oh, very rarely.
And what about sunbeds?
No, don't use sunbeds.
Okay, that's perfect. I really don't like sunbeds.
Yeah,
Not good for your skin. I'm just cleaning that. Okay. I'm just going to have my magnifying glass. Yeah, and I just think it's about kind of closing your pores up a bit, really. I can hear some blackheads and things, but I think start with a good exfoliation, make sure we're double cleansing, and add a masking, and you know, some kind of serum that's going to help with hydration. Personally, that's my recommendations. Your skin is very youthful, and obviously we want to keep it that way. But obviously if we dry our skin out too much, then you're going to start feeling the consequence of that.
Yeah.
I'm just going to turn a little light on with this. I'm just going to look at this here. Yeah, I think that's actually a blackhead. That's got sort of like a little scab on it. It's not actually a spot because when I look at it, it just got a black bit in the middle. So basically that's one of your pores that's kind of got clogged. But because you haven't, say, removed any dead skin, it's going back on top of it. And you've ended up then with the blackhead. Yeah, so you see in large pores, it's sort of in this section. Even though they enlarge, you don't have blackheads in all of them. It's just the odd one. But I'm thinking if you start toning or using some kind of water afterwards, that's really going to help shrink them up a little bit. And I don't see any like scarring or anything like that.
That's what I was worried about.
I see like the odd little patch here, but it looks more like, if I'm honest, like a really enlarged pore, it looks like to me. Like this one here, I don't know whether you've had chicken pox or had any breakouts when you were younger.
It might have been breakouts. I did.
Did you pick?
Yes, I did use pick.
So that must be what the larger patches are. If you can just turn for me. So you've got all here is like enlarged pores, but then here you got a bigger one and they start going bigger. So I'm wondering if that is from your breakouts and it's sort of left a bit of a dent, a bit like a scar really.
Yeah.
But you can't really see them unless you're looking like I am. Yeah, we just need to close these pores up here because they're quite enlarged. I know we can't close them up properly, but you can get things to help shrink them a little bit, and then it will just stop excess, like things building up in it. Because if you've got larger pores, you're more inclined of getting blackheads and things getting stuck in there. And that's another reason why I'd really recommend that you do exfoliate, because you're going to help stop that, if you know what I mean. Yes, these are your typical spots down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, about there. Definitely on the like edge or hormonal line. Okay. Let's have a look. I need to tell you a bit more. So thank you. Yeah, very similar this side. Enlarged pores. Bigger pigmentation patch there. Lean a little bit in. Okay, so you don't really have any here. You don't really have any of the big patches, if that makes sense, dents, apart from here. Yeah, so here is a bit more of a denting. So whether you've had a breakout at some point here and here. But that looks like old, so that would have been ages ago. Yeah, quite dehydrated there. Large pores, definitely pigmentation here. Bit of breakouts again. Okay. Just going to stand up and have a look at your nose. Yeah, that's just classic kind of oily nose, really. Bit of a breakout forming here, I think. I can see. Definitely got a lot of pigmentation patches. We can be using things anyway. Like certain things can help reduce the appearance of pigmentation. There's a lot of different products on the market that are I can't say that word, specifically for pigmentation. Like brightening products, vitamin C and things like that are going to help remove, well, they get smaller, it shrinks them. And potentially, after a lot of use of different things, you might actually get rid of them altogether. As long as you use sun protection, don't get any more. Yeah, got the odd freckle there. See, freckles look different than pigmentation. I know people say it looks the same, but it doesn't. They're not exactly the same.
Maybe that's what I was getting confused with on my nose. It's not freckles, it's the...
Yeah, so what I can see on your nose, actually, because looking at you, I can't really see anything. But when I use my magnifying glass or the other thing, I can see here. But a freckle is more like... I got one. Like more round.
Yes.
Like normally a round shape, whereas pigmentation can be irregular and it's more like a patch. They're very similar, but they're not. So here are it's pigmentation, I can see. But like, that's more of a freckle. I mean, as we age anyway, I mean, over time, you're going to get more pigmentation and things like that because you've been in the sun a lot longer. Alright, I'm just going to write some notes. Okay, some damage. So I would say you do have typically combination skin. Okay. To me, it's actually pretty normal to combination is your skin type. And then a concern will be the dehydration. So the dehydration you can fix. 9 times out of 10, we can't really change our skin type, if you know what I mean. We can try to help it and improve it and try different products and different things like that to help. And you might find something that actually really does help and work. Sometimes it is trial and error. But I definitely recommend you double cleansing, exfoliating once or twice a week, and then use a mask once a week on the day you exfoliate. Try and add in a hyaluronic acid serum, because that is full of moisture, and that's going to give you a big boost in hydration. Okay, look for anything purifying, clarifying, black charcoal, anything like that, especially for your T-zone area, but it is okay to go all over. And if you can find things like brightening, vitamin C, hyaluronic acid, and anything that says hydration on there, that's really going to work on your pigmentation and obviously help hydrate your face. Now, the reason why I think it's red here, it is quite dehydrated. Not red, sorry, I mean liney when I push like this. And it makes it feel a little bit dry. But I literally think that is possibly from sun damage, and it's dried it out a little bit, and it's struggling to get some water in it because it's been took out of it. So we need to make sure that we're really hydrating this section, okay?
Okay.
A little bit dry and red, dry, red. Okay. I'm just going to look. So you don't have any fine lines. I think here that you can see slightly under the surface, but I think it's because I don't use an eye cream, and I feel like it's quite dehydrated under your eyes. You do use an eye cream, but can you try and have one that's more hydrating? Because I don't know which one you are using, so it's definitely lacking moisture. And then you might be able to see there's little lines here and here, right? They don't typically look like a fine line where you'd get it, because it is a little bit underneath, but do you know what I mean? I feel like if we get that hydrate, it's going to stretch out, it's going to smooth those lines.
Okay.
Because they're not typically, I wouldn't say aging lines. Can you just smile for me? I mean, obviously we smile, so they're going to indent a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you put your eye cream right the way up here and always upward action. You can also get eye patches for like a mask under there, which I highly recommend.
Okay.
Stuff like that. I use them like all the time. I wouldn't really say you've got dark circles either. Maybe a little bit purpley here in the middle. But that can alter between if you're tired, not enough sleep, haven't had enough water. Sometimes if you're lacking vitamins and things like that.
Yeah.
And if you are like lacking vitamin D, that can also make your skin oily.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so... And obviously a lot of us here are lacking vitamin D because there's not much sun. But yeah, that is another thing that could make your skin oily. But I really think your skin's nice and supple. And the workable issues. So if it's something that you were concerned about or fancy trying it, it's things you can do to help your skin. So, okay. Yeah, so make sure we are cleansing your neck area and exfoliating your neck area as well. So only slightly bit of dark circle there. It's just in the corner. No bagging, no puffiness around the eyes, nothing like that. It's really nice and good. And like I say, you don't really have any lines anywhere. But yeah, like when you smile, you're going to get a little bit crunchy, but that's understandable. And because here is quite dry, because it is quite high dehydrated, it's going to make lines appear worse.
Right, okay.
Okay. Right. That is us complete. Do you have any questions, my love?
I don't think so, no. I've learnt a lot. Thank you.
So, yeah, quite impressed. Quite nice, youthful skin. A couple of little areas, but I feel like if you just add a few things into your skincare regime and, you know, make sure you are like splashing your face and things like that. And then obviously if we get things under control, then you probably need to look at like a steam and an extraction.
Yes.
Things like that.
Yeah.